The 1800s were full of strange, dangerous, and downright baffling jobs. Some of these occupations might make you laugh, others might make you shiver, and a few might make you grateful you weren't alive back then. From collecting leeches to posing as a human alarm clock, the Victorian and 19th century world had work for everyone, no matter how bizarre. Today, we're counting down 30 of the weirdest jobs people actually had in the 1800s, and trust me, number 17 will make your skin crawl. 1. Leech collector. In the 1800s, medicine was obsessed with balancing the humors, and leeches were in high demand for bloodletting treatments. Leech collectors waded into ponds and marshes, letting leeches attach to their bare legs so they could gather them for doctors. It was bloody, dangerous, and often led to infections. 2. Rat catcher. Cities were crawling with rats, and rat catchers were hired to hunt them down. In some cases, they were paid per rat tail they brought in. Many carried ferrets to flush rats out of holes, and yes, they often got bitten. 3. Knocker-upper. Before alarm clocks became common, people hired a knocker-upper to wake them up. They used long sticks or pea shooters to tap on bedroom windows, sometimes walking miles in the early morning just to rouse clients. 4. Tosher. Toshers were sewer scavengers, crawling through the filthy underbelly of Victorian cities to find coins, scraps of metal, and anything valuable. The smell alone was horrifying, and disease was rampant. 5. Resurrectionist. Medical schools needed cadavers for anatomy lessons, but bodies were in short supply. Resurrectionists, also called body snatchers, dug up freshly buried corpses and sold them to doctors. 6. Mudlark. Usually children or the very poor. Mudlarks scavenged riverbanks at low tide for anything of value: coal, rope, scrap wood. It was back-breaking, wet, and filthy work. 7. Crossing sweeper. With streets full of mud, horse manure, and trash, crossing sweepers cleared a path so wealthy pedestrians could cross without soiling their clothes. For a small tip. 8. Pure finder. A pure finder collected dog feces from the streets. Why? Tanneries used it to soften leather. The smell was overpowering, but the work paid. 9. Whipping boy. Although mostly phased out by the 1800s, the concept lingered in some royal circles. If a young prince misbehaved, another boy, the whipping boy, would be punished in his place. 10. Leaden clog dancer. A form of entertainment in industrial towns. These dancers wore heavy, lead-soled shoes and performed rhythmic routines on wooden floors to mimic the sounds of factory machines. 11. Fuller's earth worker. Fuller's earth, a clay used in textile production, had to be dug and processed by hand. Workers often inhaled the dust, damaging their lungs over time. 12. Matchstick maker. Match production in the 1800s involved white phosphorus, which could cause farcy jaw, a painful and disfiguring condition where the jawbone rotted away. 13. Funeral mute. Hired to stand in complete silence during funeral processions. Funeral mutes were paid mourners, dressed in black and looking as solemn as possible. 14. Lobster fisher in the city. Believe it or not, some entrepreneurs kept live lobsters in barrels and walked city streets selling them to the wealthy. The lobsters sometimes escaped, causing chaos. 15. Rat baiter. A gruesome form of entertainment, involved putting rats in an enclosed pit and betting on how quickly a dog could kill them. Rat baiters organized and ran these events. 16. Chimney sweep. Child chimney sweeps were small enough to climb into chimneys and scrape soot from the walls. It was dangerous, filthy, and caused long-term health problems. 17. Bug destroyer. Hired by wealthy households, bug destroyers dealt with infestations of bedbugs, lice, and other vermin, usually by burning sulfur or using toxic chemicals. 18. Phrenologist. Phrenologists claimed they could read a person's character by feeling the bumps on their skull. While now debunked, it was a serious and sometimes well-paid job. 19. Mill scavenger. Children working in textile mills would crawl under active machines to collect fallen cotton, often while the machinery was running. 20. Night soilman. Before indoor plumbing, human waste from privies had to be collected and carted away. Night soilmen worked under cover of darkness to remove it. And yes, the smell was legendary. 21. Corpse photographer. Victorian families often wanted photographs of deceased loved ones as keepsakes. Corpse photographers carefully posed and dressed the dead to look lifelike for these portraits. 22. Leech feeder. In some apothecaries, workers were tasked with keeping leeches alive by letting them feed on their own blood. It was exactly as unpleasant as it sounds. 23. Human bill poster. Some businesses paid people to walk around wearing sandwich boards or having advertisements strapped to their bodies, a moving billboard. 24. Workhouse bone crusher. In poor houses, destitute men were sometimes given the task of crushing animal bones into dust for fertilizer. Exhausting and demoralizing work. 25. Grave watcher. To protect bodies from resurrectionists, some cemeteries hired night watchmen to guard graves until decomposition made them worthless to body snatchers. 26. Ice cutter. Before refrigeration, large blocks of ice were cut from frozen lakes and transported to ice houses. It was freezing, slippery, and dangerous work. 27. Match girl. Many young girls made matches for long hours in poorly ventilated factories, suffering from exposure to toxic phosphorus. 28. Lamplighter. Street lamps had to be lit by hand at dusk and extinguished at dawn. Lamplighters walked long routes with ladders and poles, often in bad weather. 29. Factory scavenger. Children often crawled under moving machinery to pick up scraps, a job similar to mill scavengers, but in other industries like metalwork. 30. Powder monkey. On ships, young boys carried gunpowder from the magazine to the cannons. It was dangerous and often done under heavy fire during naval battles. Life in the 1800s was anything but easy, and for many, survival meant taking whatever work was available no matter how strange, dangerous, or disgusting it might be. From the perilous lives of chimney sweeps to the eerie trade of corpse photography, these jobs remind us how far labor conditions have come and how creative humans can be when it comes to making a living. So next time you complain about your job, just remember at least you're not a leech collector.